10-year-old girl presented with the pain abdomen and generalized body weakness for 2 to 3 months. On examination, heart rate was 90, BP was okay in the right limb, that is for the 10-year-old. The lower limb, of course, you see, you have to have a gap of 20 higher. So it was okay. Higher in the lower limb, the BP was 120/60. All peripheral pulse well palpable. In the anthropometry, now in this child, very importantly, this was a 10-year-old girl and had come with vague complaints of pain, abdomen, generalized body weakness. And when we examined this child was looking a little tall. The fingers were a little long. So there was arachnodactyly. That is called arachnodactyly. Now, when we did the height of this child was 153, whereas the arm span was 159.5. So this was a very clear-cut case of a arachnodactyly. So in arachnodactyly, what happens is, when we further examined this child, there was ejection systolic murmur also was auscultated in the left precordium. Now you have a child who has got arachnodactyly, arm span is more than the length in a 10-year-old baby, and coming, of course, with the vague complaints of pain, abdomen, and generalized body weakness. But when we rest of the systemic examination normal, the possibility of query, Marfanoid or Marfan syndrome was kept. Right? Now what happened is, then we have the facilities for this child subject was subjected to the echocardiography. And in this echocardiography, there was a bicuspid aortic wall and aortic root dilatation was there with the mild AR. So basically, if you have a child of aortic root dilatation, evidence of mild AR, you have a picture of arachnodactyly. Straight away, an ophthalmological examination was done. Of course, there was no ectopia lentis here, but in the ectopia lentis was not there, but the myopia was found. So this was a case of so what is the possible diagnosis? Now this was a case, most likely a case of a Marfan syndrome. Now in this Marfan syndrome, I'll discuss briefly about the Marfan syndrome, because in Marfan syndrome nowadays, in our time, there was no genetic studies which were being carried out. Now you have the mutation that is called as mutation in the FBN1 gene. And that leads to what happens is it leads to the abnormal connective tissue disorder. Connective tissue strength is there and there is increased elasticity. So inheritance is autosomal dominant. Now, there are certain criteria. You see, a diagnosis of this has to be made in coordination with the geneticist, cardiologist, which I said. You have to find out whether there is aortic root dilatation. There is how much what is the Z score? How much is the aortic root dilatation? It has to be more than 3 or 2. I'll just give you one slide. And then ophthalmologically, you have to find out. So there are certain criteria which are called revised gain criteria. This is 2010. There were some criteria there, and they are the clinical features and ocular findings are which are there is myopia, ectopia lentis. If supposing there is ectopia lentis or these things are there, then the diagnosis is much easy to make. But then if there is echocardiography and genetic testing is there, then you have to do these are much more confirmatory. Now I'll just briefly tell you what are the systemic score. And systemic score, what you do is, there's so many things are there. I have tried to focus 2 things which you must remember. You see, if the score is more than 7, that is the systemic score. Then it is true. If the systemic score is more than 7, if there is aortic root dilatation, even if there is ectopia lentis, there are so many if scenarios are there, then the diagnosis of the Marfan syndrome is made. But if the score is less than 7, and supposing there is ectopia lentis, then you have to keep in mind the child needs to be followed up. But then 2 things you must remember, these are questions which are asked. We have tried to focus 2 things. And I'll just show you. One is called a thumb sign and one is called as a wrist sign. So what happens in a thumb sign, that here I'm trying to focus, that you make a fist, and in that fist this thumb goes out of that fist. And when the thumb goes out of the fist, you see this first photograph. the thumb is going out. When the fist is made, this is called the thumb sign. So because of the high elasticity, because arachnodactyly, the thumb goes or gets protruded out of the fist. Second one is the wrist. What is happening in the wrist is, which is being focused, is that you take the little finger, you take the thumb, and you try to put it across the other wrist or the other side. And if you see that if they don't cross each other in the Marfan syndrome, the little finger and the thumb cross each other because of the arachnodactyly, and that is what normally does not happen. That's called a wrist sign. So if both are present, then the score of 3 is given. If one is present, then the score of 1 is given. So there are so many other features which are systemic features. These are called modified gain criteria 2010, right? So basically other things could be pectus carinatum, hind foot deformity, there could be dural ectasia, pneumothorax. So all those things, scoliosis. So those things you need to be kept in mind. And in the score, other important thing is the skin stria. We give a score of 1. Myopia, if it is more than 3 diopters, then it is again a score of 1. Yes, mitral valve prolapse, if it is there is no dilatation of the aortic root dilatation, then even then it is given a score of 1. So the total score is 20, and more than 7 indicates that there is systemic involvement of the Marfan syndrome. So this is sometime a question can come on the what are the systemic features I have enumerated. You can go down, and importantly, of course, there is increased elasticity and a differential diagnosis. Of course, closest of the differential diagnosis will be Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. So Ehlers-Danlos syndrome also, what happens is there is a decrease, there is increased elasticity. So that is one possibility. Of course, in Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, you will not have picture of ectopia lentis. You will not have a picture of what I say, the mutations will not be there. That FBN1 mutation will not be there. So those things are there. Basically, so if you have the revised gain criteria are that without the family history, because it's an autosomal dominant, diagnosis confirmed if any one of the following is present, that is aortic root dilatation, Z score more than 2 plus ectopia lentis, aortic root dilatation plus FBN mutation, or aortic root dilatation plus the systemic score of more than 7. So that is without the family history, that is the diagnostic criteria. And if you have ectopia lentis mutation known to cause the aortic disease, even then it is without the family history, this is the diagnostic of Marfan syndrome. But if you have a family history already there, then diagnosis is confirmed if any one of them is there, that even if there is ectopia lentis or a systemic score of more than 7 is there, any one, or aortic root Z score is more than 2 if older than 20 years or more than 3 in younger than 20 years. That means if the aortic root dilatation Z score is more than 3 in children, even if there is a positive family history, then you confirm the diagnosis of, even if one is there, ectopia lentis, systemic score, which I have enumerated, thumb sign, wrist sign, and the aortic root dilatation, then the diagnosis of the Marfan is made. So that is what was the indication. So in the absence of the family history of Marfan syndrome, alternative diagnosis, which I said should be including. And that is what you should keep in mind. So basically, you should keep in mind the possibility of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome because there is increased elasticity. There is something called as ectopia lentis syndrome where you have mutation is not there, ectopia lentis is there, and the systemic score is known to be associated, but the systemic score is, of course, less than, like in this child, there is something called as masked phenotype. Now, here I would like to mention one thing more, that what is Marfanoid and what is Marfan. Marfanoid is basically it is a physical features are like Marfan, that you have arachnodactyly, the child, the fellow is very long, but then you don't have picture of ectopia lentis or there is no aortic root dilatation. So basically, we don't use that term. Some people loosely use this term as incomplete Marfan. But there is no need to put this disease as incomplete Marfan. That is called as a Marfanoid. So Marfanoid in patients, the picture is that you don't have the CVS finding. There is no involvement of the ectopial lentis is also not there. Ectopial lentis can occur in the patients with the homocystinuria also. In one, you have the supravidial and the other one is the downward deviation of the ectopial lentis, or the deviation or the upward. That's what you need to know. Now, how you treat these patients? You have to put these patients on angiotensin receptor blockers because it will reduce the afterload because of the aortic root dilatation. There is evidence of some AR, and then you have to reduce the afterload by giving the ARBs or the angiotensin receptor blockers. Beta blockers reduce the aortic stress. These are the drugs, and the ACE inhibitors, some protection needs to be, but then needs to be more studies. But yes, ARBs have been used. The beta blockers have been used in such patients. And of course, these patients need to be regularly monitored for echocardiographic monitoring should be done. And you see, of course, because of the what I say, uh, problem with the backflow, suddenly if there is highly sternus activity is there, then there could be even the sudden fall in the blood pressure. So avoid this sternus physical activity. Surgical repair, if the aortic dilatation is severe, favorable if undertaken as an elective. Early surgery, rapid rate of growth of aortic root dilator, so rapid early surgery can be done. Eye and orthopedic management as needed. Prophylaxis for bacterial endocarditis, yes. You have to keep in mind that the child has got aortic root dilatation. So if some procedure is to be carried out, then like for other cases, like prophylaxis for the bacterial endocarditis needs to be started. So it's a autosomal dominant, so you need to keep in mind, and genetic counseling needs to be done. So that's what is there. So what could be the complication? That the last question which I asked was, the complications in Marfan could be cardiovascular, ocular, respiratory, skeletal, nervous system. So basically, aortic root dilatation, so there is a progressive enlargement. There could be aortic aneurysm, aortic dissection, mitral valve collapse is there, and the children can go in for a heart failure. In the ocular ectopial lentis, there could be retinal detachment also can occur, and there could be cataract as well as or the glaucoma. Respiratory, there could be spontaneous pneumothorax, restrictive lung disease. Skeletal, as I said, there could be progressive scoliosis, chest deformities in the form of pectus excavatum, pectus carinatum, and because joint laxity, there could be recurrent dislocations also can occur. The nervous system, because of dural ectasia, which I said, there could be low back pain, headaches, and neurological symptoms can be there.